Hey, what's up guys, Benny here, and welcome to my top 5 meta loadouts for ranked play in Warzone Season 3. Throughout this video, I'm going to give you the best guns for you to be able to achieve iridescent in ranked, or maybe even go for the top 250. I'll also be giving you some tips and tricks along the way to make the most out of your loadouts and the decisions you're going to be making in ranked. We're going to start off with the CR56 Amax. This is hands down going to be the most used gun in ranked this season, and for good reason, because it is absolutely ridiculous, especially because snipers cannot one-shot kill in ranked. First things first is the optic. Now, we're not going to be using the 1x sights that we're kind of traditionally been using in previous seasons. We're going to go down and use the Willis 3 times. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. Gives you that reduction in recoil gun kick as well, which should not be overlooked. So it makes it even more accurate and just an absolute laser beam when you're firing this thing. Then we're going to be heading to the muzzle. A lot of the time, I'd always like using the monolithic because it keeps you off radar, means you're a hard target. But in ranked play, people are going to know where you are. Anticipate that players are going to be communicating heavily, and as soon as you shoot at someone, they're going to know your location. So you're going to want to go for that recoil control and recoil stabilization that the compensator gives you so you can land your shots and pick up those kills. Next is the barrel. This is a pretty simple choice. You go for the reinforced, damage range, and bullet velocity. Now we're going to go for the magazine, which is going to be that extended mag 1. 45 round mag. You'll see a lot of people running extended mag 2, but that ADS punishment, which makes it feel so clunky, is not worth it. And this season, they also gave a buff to the reload speed of the Amax. So extended mag 1 is enough. Don't fall into the trap of using the 60 round mag. It just makes the gun a lot more clunky. Then you're going to head over to firing mods and add the overpressured rounds. Now, this is where my first big tip comes. The first loadout that you should be grabbing should be your 8 attachment long range assault rifle. Have like a SMG or whatever that you find, but having the 8 attachment AR in the way that you play ranked is going to give you a huge advantage. It's going to win you those gunfights that you would otherwise lose because you're going to gain the extra recoil control from that vertical foregrip. Very, very important. So throw that on. Then you're going to go to the rear grip. You could run the commando grip for faster ADS speed if you wish to. I personally go for quick draw just because I want it to feel as snappy as possible. Then we go to the stock and we throw that combat stock on for flinch resistance, which means that when you're shooting, right, your shots are still going to get hit your target even if you're getting hit, whilst their gun's going to start flying all over the place. Small details like this matter in ranked play. And if I show you in the firing range what this looks like it is an absolute laser beam. Fast DTK, doesn't really move, super clean. And also, another thing that you can do if you haven't with the Amax, you can go to customize and you can change that reticle so you can get the one that you prefer most. Like this Zombies T-pose, I've not unlocked it yet, but it's supposed to be absolutely ridiculous. Next, because you are running an 8 attachment assault rifle as your primary, you're going to need a solid secondary to go with it. Now you could run a rocket launcher because loads of players are going to be running around in vehicles, so you could potentially get some nice and easy squad wipes, which means free SR. However, most good players are going to be buying that trophy system from the buy station and making sure that their vehicle always has a trophy system on it, so you're probably not going to get the most use out of rocket launchers. But the Grekohva is the perfect pairing with the Amax because this thing absolutely melts, and I've seen a lot of pro players also be using this to make sure to take advantage of it. The muzzle is going to be that monolithic suppressor. Pretty standard, no minimap firing ping, bullet velocity, and damage range. Your barrel is going to be the reinforced barrel. This gives you a bit more bullet velocity as well as additional damage range for the fastest TTK potential up close. Magazine, nice and easy, extended mag 3. We're then going to go for the stock, and you're going to go for the weighted stock. This does drop your ADS and sprint fire speed, but it gives you an alternate ADS, which turns this thing into an absolute laser cannon. And talking of lasers, you're going to throw on the steady aim for better hip fire spread. But if I go into the firing range to show this to you, you're going to see what I mean. Like, it melts. Obviously, up 25 meters, not so much. But if you're holding doorways or positions, as you will with your trio, once you've got your first loadout, you'll be able to take people out with ease. Honestly, I really, really like this thing. It's a lot of fun to use. But next, you're going to be going for a second loadout, and this is what I'm going to recommend running. You are going to want to use the AK-74. Yes, it probably received the most amount of nerfs for Season 3, but it is still the #1 close range weapon in the entire game. And is a great option. I'd really recommend pairing this with the Amax. Of course, I'm going to give you a couple other options as well that are very, very competitive. But on the 8 attachment AK-74, I'll give you the 5 attachment as well, just in case you want to have an option where you have the Amax and the AK, which is something I really would recommend doing. We're going to go for the muzzle straight away, and you're going to throw on that compensator for that recoil control. You're then going to you're not going to put a barrel on it. You're going to go to the underbarrel, vertical foregrip, magazine, extended mag 1. Rear grip is then that commando grip, and then the stock is the infiltrator stock. And it is not the extended mag 1. I've always said this. You're now going to want the flip mag. This is also going to give you better ADS speed, reload quickness, and sprint to fire, which makes it more feel like an SMG way more. And because you're only in trios, trust me, the 30 round, that flip mag speedy reload is more than enough. But as we said, we want the 8 attachment version. You're going to throw on an optic there. Use whichever one you want. I use the Volshkiv Reflex. Then the barrel is going to be the reinforced barrel. Now, I like this because you get extra damage range as well as that increased bullet velocity as well. So if you want to kind of use it as sniper support, or you want to get those last couple shots on someone running away because you're out of bullets with your Amax, this allows you to do it pretty easily. Then you're going to go across to the firing mods and just add recoil springs. Honestly, just having that better control to hit those shots really does make a difference. This thing is so much fun to use and best close-up weapon in the entire game for ranked play. And just in case you didn't believe me, look. Absolute laser beam. And you know when I said about the reload speed? That's how quick it is. Look, obviously the second reload is slower, but the first reload is super fast. Right, so that's a big thing to remember, right? Sometimes, like, you can be a little bit cheeky and just kind of, like, spend that time just getting that faster reload in there, but this thing melts, and I kind of expect it to get another nerf sometime soon because they're going to want to bring SMGs into the meta. And talking of SMGs, if you want the meta SMG for ranked play in Warzone Season 3, you're going to want to use the brand new Ladra. This thing has an incredible TTK, a high fire rate, and a great mag size. For the build, you're going to go for that the compensator just to reduce the recoil as much as possible. The barrel is the long barrel. This means that you get the fastest TTK at the furthest ranges, so you don't get that drop off, which can really lose you fights in ranked play. Then we're going to run the underbarrel, which is going to be that Ranger foregrip, of course, giving you sprinting movement speed as well as additional recoil control. Magazine, extended mag 1, gives you that 55 round mag. You don't need more than that. And then finally, the last attachment that we are going to run is the ergonomic grip. This gives you faster slide to fire, dive to fire, ADS, and jumping ADS speeds, just making the gun feel way, way better. But like I said, we really like 8 attachment weapons in ranked because they do make your guns a lot better. So on that, you're going to be running that infiltrator stock, so you get that faster aim walking movement speed. Firing mods, we go for those recoil springs, make it even more of a laser beam. And then I personally don't like running a laser because I like to hold angles. And if you run one of these, like one of the biggest problems that you have is a laser suddenly starts appearing in ADS. And ranked play, you need to hold your irons, you need to hold positions while pre-aiming. So you don't want to run that. So just go for an optic. The Kepler Microflex is a great option on this. But if I go into the firing range, you're going to see, honestly, this thing is disgusting. Like, no recoil, absolute laser. Of course, at 25 meters, it's not going to be best, but we're not using our SMG at that range. This range, nice and easy, great kills, and the best SMG in the game. Now, of course, sniping is still very much viable in ranked play, but I personally don't think it is as effective, but the HDR is still the #1 option in the game. The muzzle is going to be that monolithic suppressor, of course. The barrel, the game twist for the most bullet velocity. Underbarrel is going to be that lightweight bipod for that aiming idle sway. Then we're going to run that quick draw grip, which is even more important now that the ADS speed has been nerfed with Season 3 Reloaded. Then also the final attachment is, of course, overpressured for that increased bullet velocity, make it easier for you to hit your shots. Now, I personally would recommend running the Amax with the AK-74 and then maybe the Ladra if that's what you'd prefer. But remember, the best technique if you are looking to play ranked is first loadout, grab your 8 attachment assault rifle, use that Grekohva as your secondary until you get to the second loadout, and then you can get your 8 attachment SMG or AK. And then remember, right, if it's at the end of the game and you don't really have the opportunity to get 2, make sure to grab the 5 attachment assault rifle and SMG of your choice. And then if you're wondering what perks to run as well, what we've been running is Survivor, so you can res your teammates faster and get res quicker as well. Cold-blooded, because loads of players are running tracker, so when you're using your smoke grenade rotations, you are going to be able to make those. Then also Ghost, because of course Bird's Eye is not available in ranked play, so you know, unless someone is popping a VSAT, which you'll get an audible cue for, or when the fire sale happens, you know you are not going to appear on the radar, so you can move a little bit more freely around the map. And then impact grenades and smokes are my go-to as well. But I hope this helps you out. Good luck with ranked play. I'll be streaming it an absolute ton, so come get involved in the top 250 grind. This is the season we're hitting it. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later for more. Thanks for watching. Bye.